Yes.
Hello, my dear students. Today, in this introductory class, we are going to discuss about Prologue to the Canterbury Tales. Well, to begin with Chaucer, it's very important for us to know the background. As you may be aware about the word prologue, prologue means what? Prologue means an introduction about something which we are going to discuss. So, Chaucer has written a general prologue to the Canterbury Tales, in which you have an idea about the full length discussion that he had made later on. And there are certain things while going through this prologue we need to understand. So let me begin with this, that Chaucer's full name was Geoffrey Chaucer. And Geoffrey Chaucer, he wrote the Canterbury Tales around 700 years ago, and it was written during medieval time of England, and he is commonly regarded as the father of English poetry, father of English literature. When you talk about the prologue, you need to understand about the author first. Chaucer has got two careers in his life. He was not only a writer, a prolific writer, but also an important government official. He was so important that when he was captured in France while serving as a soldier, as he was involved in the 100 Years' War, the king himself contributed to the ransom so that he can be set free. Let us come back to the prologue. In the prologue, Chaucer for the very first time used the East Midland dialect of Middle English, and this dialect was somewhat very common colloquial language at that particular time, and it became the basis of what we call the modern language or modern English. And ultimately, whatever English we have today, the credit ultimately goes to Chaucer's use of East Midland dialect that was very popular at that time. Chaucer did something which was never done before by anyone at that time. He wrote for all the sections of the society. When you find his characters, you will find them, they are drawn from all the walks of the society. You have the peasant, you have nobleman, you have everyone in between. Whereas, if you compare him with the other authors of his time, you will find that Chaucer wrote about the characters from all the walks of the society, but the other authors, they wrote only about the nobility and upper class, that is the higher class of the society. I think this is the line of demarcation between Chaucer and other authors of his time. When you analyze his the class or the characters, you will find that in prologue, or especially in the Canterbury Tales, you have a ruling class in form of the characters, like we have knight, squire. Then you have the characters from religion or church, clergymen especially, friar, priors, summoner, pardoner. Then you have the middle class people, like we have Franklin in the prologue, Reeve, Clark, scholar, the other name of him, and the wife of Bath. Then we have the merchant class or the trade class also, in which we have miller, we have innkeeper, we have also merchant, and finally we have the people from, or the characters from peasant group. We have yeoman. So, about Chaucer, it is almost now clear to us that around 13th and 14th century, mostly the manuscripts were written in French or Latin, but not in Middle English. It was Chaucer who initiated, who introduced this language to us. And then we have the prologue. And the basic idea behind the prologue is very simple. He wanted to, portray the people or persons from all the walks of the society or from all the sections of the society. Therefore, he planned this particular, Canterbury Tales. Therefore, the idea is somewhat related to, religion. So, religion can bind you. And it can give you a kind of moral lesson as well. So what happened? A group of pilgrims, they will meet somewhere like an inn, and then they will decide so that they can go for a pilgrimage. Or that pilgrimage may be going somewhere like the cathedral. So they decided, okay, we will visit up to the Canterbury Cathedral. We will go together. But in order to pass the journey time, what we will do? We will narrate, will tell each other a tale. So they are 29 in numbers. And the general framework was what? That while going towards there, each one of them will narrate at least 2 stories. And while coming from there, that is from their return journey, they will again tell 2 tales. So by and large, each one will tell 4 tales. So 29 into 4, how many tales? Many in numbers, more than 100. But in fact, whatever tales we have, they are less than the expected, as it was expected by Chaucer himself. And the host, it's very important here to mention, the host was very happy with the company of such people. So, the host also decided that no, I would also accompany with you people. And he congratulated the group that they have taken a very bold decision. And since you will be going there, you will be narrating your tale, whosoever will tell the best tale, whose tale will be the best, as it is going to be decided by all of us, will be given a supper, a meal. And host also declares that he will also ride with the pilgrims and he would serve as their guide. And he will be traveling on his own cost. If anyone disputes his judgment, he says that person must pay for the expenses of the pilgrimage. So it was a very simple framework behind which Chaucer started his narration of characters that he took from different sections of the society. Before that, what was in the mind of Chaucer? Let me take you to some biblical references. So here I like to draw your attention. In Chaucer's time, people were mostly instructed by church officials so that they can, keep themselves away from the sins, or they can develop virtues rather than vices. So they were often told not to get involved into 7 deadly sins. And these sins are also called cardinal sins. What are these sins? The first one, lust, obsessiveness, excessive sexual desire. You need not to involve in it. Third, second, before that, gluttony. It is overindulgence. If you are going to involve in something, you are indulged in something which is not expected from you to get involved. Avoid it. Gluttony. It is something related to your eating habit also. You should not be glutton. And greed has to be avoided. This is the third cardinal sin. You desire too much, and especially related to wealth. It is something which is in today's time related to materialism. Then you have sloth. Keep yourself away from laziness. And then the fifth one is wrath, anger. Avoid anger in your life. And then the second last is envy. Don't be jealous of anyone. And the last, the pride, vanity. So we need to go through it now. Will any character be guilty of these sins or not? So we have to analyze it. Whether they, find all these sins in their character, or do they have any, element of out of these 7 deadly sins. So let me go through one by one the major characters of the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. The first one we have Knight. The Knight is one of the best characters of Chaucer. It's one of the wonderful characters, a very good, noble character, very kind, generous, and he took part in many holy wars. You see now, Chaucer portrays the character traits not on account of their psychology, not on account of their, job or profession, but also it talks about their attire, that is their dress. So about the dress of Knight, he was humbly dressed, though he was holding a very high position. And then you have, ultimately, he stopped writing about the Knight, offers his thanks, and then he started writing about the squire. The squire is the knight's son. He's also like father, good fighter, but he is not like his father, very easygoing person. He flaunts about his status. His skirt is very short, but he has long sleeves. He was somewhat chivalrous also, flirt, and especially he enjoys the company of women. And he is not so humble like his father. Then you have the third most important character, the yeoman. Yeoman, he wears green cloths. He carries swords, dagger for protection. But about him, one of the important things is that he takes his job very seriously. He has high level of focus and concentration. Then you have the nun. He or rather she is very particular about her attire, behavior. She wipes her mouth whenever she eats anything. Now the question is there, why a nun care for herself so much, and that too for worldly manners? A contradiction in her character. Then you have even one more elements in her character. She cries over a mouse in a trap, or when her dog is beaten. And The people from the church, especially, they are not supposed to keep pet animals. Again, a contradiction in her character. And she has a very good heart. And she also, through her attire, it reflects. She likes to, communicate. Love conquers all. So she is interested in spiritual love or earthly love. Then you have another character, the monk. The monk who hunts and which is forbidden. But his dress is really very nice, beautiful. He has horses and greyhounds also. And he was, too busy with the worldly affairs. He avoids the holy nectarine. He has a lover's knot. And he was habitual of eating too much. He eats well. Now, let us go back to the cardinal sin. He was a glutton. Gluttony. One of the scenes from biblical references that I, talked few minutes ago. So he was having, this particular habit of eating too much. He was fat. Then you have the friar. He hears confession, but he also takes, bribe. He charges for confessions. He wears a hood, pins and pocket, and he keeps knives to give to girls. He does not bother about anyone, especially with poor one. And therefore, he does not, have any sympathy towards poor people, as they do not have any money. He begged for church and kept some money for himself. Then you have one of the most interesting characters from the prologue, the merchant. He deals with money only. He knew the language of money. He was very good with trade, importing, exporting, and all those things. He looked very wealthy. But in reality, he is in great debt. And then he was a skillful person, especially skillful in business. Then you have Oxford cleric. He was a poor college student. He had, thin hairs. His clothes were very shabby. He takes money generally from friends. He buys books, being a scholar. And he prays for the ones who give him what? Money. Again, if you have a desire for something and it is related to cardinal sin, that you are more materialistic rather than you have to be. And you are a scholar, but still being a scholar, you are not expected to deal with, money and all these things. But here, Chaucer highlights the other trait of that person, that he was more interested in what? Obtaining or borrowing money from his friends. Then you have the sergeant of the law or the liar. The liar was a very smart person, but he was very lazy. Therefore, he was very less, occupied with his work. He was less busy. And what was his job? He writes up property documents. About his dress, he was well dressed, but could not pinch a comma from his documents. It is something which is, the other side of his character. Then you have the frankly. About his house is open to everyone. And then he is regarded as a very highly respected sheriff. About him is a good, generous man. Then you have the cook, good cook, could distinguish London ale by flavor, and he could roast and seethe and broil and fry, make a good thick soup and bake a tasty pie. But about him, that he was suffering from some disease. He has an ulcer on his knee, and being a cook, You have to be neat and clean, but he was not so much particular about his health. Then you have the skipper. He was a sailor and he captured prisoners and made them walk the plank. And then you have the most interesting character of the prologue, the wife of Bath. She was a lusty lady. She tries to appear very holy. And about her, it was said that she had 5 husbands. And it means that she killed previous 4? No reference. And she knew very well, love is somewhat, it has got its own remedies. And about her horse, it was having, scarlet horse, red face she had. She had gap in her teeth. So she is a very different kind of lady. But she pretends herself very holy, very pious. Then you have Parson. He was a good character. And he gave of himself, unselfish, hated, hypocrisy. Then you have the plowman. He is Parson's brother. And he digs dung and he is very faithful to God. He helps neighbors even after working all the day. And 10% of his earning he, donated to the church. Thesis. Then you have the miller. The miller is very strong. He can break a door in half with his head. He was having a wart on his nose with hair growing out of it. Wart on his nose, and it's a very particular thing about his, identification. He cheats his boss out of oats and grains, and he plays what? Bagpipes. Then you have Municipal. He implies that by his provisions, he did well. He was illiterate, but could outsmart even the learned man. Then you have the Reeve. A Reeve is a person who manages an estate. He has money. He buys presents for boss. He was somewhat, scrupulous. Then you have Sumner. Sumner is a person who summons people to court. He allows prisoners to exchange wine for women. It is the bad side of his character. Then you have the pardoner. He delivered pardons. He can sing well. Made money of poor country parsons. Made monkeys of the priest and congregation. Then finally, you have the host who proposes a contest of 2 stories on the way to Canterbury and 2 stories returning. The host will be the judge. The contest is proposed at the Tabard Inn and the winner will get the dinner as mark of his respect, as mark of his reward. I hope that the students will be able to understand the basic concepts, the idea of the prologue to the Canterbury Tales, and I hope that we will continue with this in the next video of mine. Thank you very much for patiently listening.